Blood-stained walls. The ghost who can't let go of the past. In a small, forgotten town nestled between dark forests and rocky cliffs, stood an old, dilapidated mansion known only by the locals as the Carter House. The mansion had been abandoned for decades, its grand windows shattered and its once beautiful stone walls now crumbling. But the one thing no one could explain was the bloodstains that seemed to appear on the walls every night, as if someone was trying to escape. The story of the Carter House began years ago with a woman named Eleanor Carter. She was the young wife of the mansion's last occupant, a wealthy but troubled man named Charles Carter. The two lived in a world of privilege, but their marriage was plagued by secrets, lies, and jealousy. Charles had always been a man of great ambition, and he became obsessed with the idea of finding a way to control death. He dabbled in forbidden rituals, desperate to discover the secrets of immortality. Eleanor, however, began to see the cracks in her husband's mind as his obsession deepened. One night, she overheard him speaking to something unseen, and she grew increasingly paranoid. The mansion that once felt like a home now felt like a prison. On the night of a storm that rattled the windows and made the ground tremble, Eleanor discovered the truth. Charles had been attempting to summon an ancient spirit, a ghostly entity that promised to grant eternal life. But instead of controlling it, he had become possessed by the entity, his soul lost forever. Terrified and desperate to escape, Eleanor tried to flee. But Charles, no longer human, chased her through the mansion, his rage a reflection of the spirit now inside him. In a moment of sheer terror, Eleanor locked herself in a room at the top of the house. But Charles found her, his rage building. The last thing she remembered was his cold, soulless eyes and the echoing sound of a blade slicing through the air. The mansion fell silent after that night. The storm cleared, and the house stood alone in the darkness. Eleanor's body was never found. Charles was never seen again. But the house never forgot. Each night, the bloodstains would reappear on the walls, as if marking the spot where Eleanor had fallen. They soaked through the ancient wallpaper, forming shapes, hands, faces, pleading eyes, etched in deep crimson. The blood would vanish by morning, but every night it returned. Locals believed the spirit of Eleanor still haunted the house, her sorrow and rage binding her to the mansion. But no one dared enter, for fear of what might happen if they disturbed the past. One evening, a young woman named Claire, an avid history buff, came to the town. She had heard the rumors about the Carter House and was drawn to the mystery of the bloodstains. Armed with nothing but her curiosity, she ventured inside. The house was cold, the air thick with dust and the smell of decay. As she wandered through the decaying halls, Claire felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as if the house itself was watching her, waiting. The walls seemed to whisper her name, but when she turned, there was no one there. Finally, she made her way to the top floor, where the bloodstains were said to be the most vivid. When she entered the room where Eleanor had died, Claire froze. The walls were covered in fresh bloodstains, shimmering in the dim light. But this time, the blood was moving. It seemed to crawl and shift, forming into words. "Help me. Let me go." Claire's heart pounded as she took a step back, and that's when she heard it. A voice, faint but desperate,